Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied to all you brethren pushing this word in all sincerity and in truth, to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the rest of the great multitude of men, women, and children that will receive mercy from the Lord in these last days. Shalom. I'm the brother Damar Gabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. All right, you can see the title of this article, man. UK government threatens to persecute anyone who shares footage of riots online for terrorism. Media demands total ban of social media. All right, and you can see, the vibration these devils are coming in. And like we've been saying for the last couple of days, in the midst of all of these, riots and uprisings and uproars of the people that are taking place around the world, you're seeing a common theme, of, while these situations are taking place, you're having the government coming down with very draconian measures, man. All right, over there in, I think, Bangladesh or India, I forget exactly where, they have a shoot on site, law in place. They have martial law, curfews. You see what's going on over there in the UK, man. And, and the people are ultimately waking up to what these elites are ultimately doing. They're seeing how they're, why they're, how they're protecting these migrants, they're protecting these foreigners, and they're persecuting the natural citizens of these countries. And, and it's, ultimately to, cause more chaos and more uprisings and civil war and race wars. This is all part of the agenda of these elites, and, while these things are taking place, hey, a lot of people are really exposing what's really going on. They're exposing how, the so-called natural citizens of those different European countries are being reprimanded. They're being persecuted. They're being locked in jail. They're being prosecuted, for sharing footage online and also for posting information on social media. And, that's for exposing, the crimes of these migrants and how the government is ultimately protecting more the rights of these foreign citizens than the natural citizens, which we know that it's a total, they're bringing in these migrants to ultimately, to push out, to bring in a new crop of, to change the face of Europe, so to speak, with this mass migration replacement. That's what I'm trying to say. And, hey, it's a lot of shit going on out there where, a lot of those migrants are committing heinous crimes, raping, graping, stabbing, all type of shit, but getting slaps on the wrist, getting community service, getting probation. But while the natural citizens who are, protesting, some peacefully, is getting out of hand, which we know is agent provocateurs going on in both situations. But the main point that I'm trying to make is that you're seeing how these government, ultimately using this scenario basically to shut down free speech, to shut down the right of, natural citizens to be able to defend themselves, to call out the bullshit, and to ultimately use this as a reason to shut down free speech and censor the internet heavily, so that no narrative outside of the mainstream narrative can be reported or be told, And like I said, this is going to happen over here in the West because these devils are ultimately bringing the order out of the chaos. They're about to start doing particular shit over here in America, to where you're going to have situations like what's happening in Europe happening here. They didn't bring in all these thousands and millions of migrants not to be used for the agenda of these elites. But we know it's playing many, it's going to serve many purposes, but mainly to silence the dissidents, to silence the whistleblowers, to silence ultimately, the prophets and the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai from being able to go on these platforms and to expose the bullshit. And they're even talking about, cracking down on these social media sites, these social media platforms, for not crashing down harder on information that they deem to be mis, or information that they're going to say is going to cause people to cause riot, to call people to be led to do particular things or violent things, and starting to, come down hard on anybody who's posting information that goes against the mainstream narrative, man. And ultimately, mainly, this is a roundabout way for them to come against the prophets and the men of the Lord. And like I said, this situation is going to come here to the America, But ultimately, we know that these elites are using this ultimately to gain more power. All right. It says the UK government is threatening to arrest anyone who shares or even retweets footage of the unrest sweeping the region sparked by its mass migration policies and two-tiered policing. And and that's, but they're also going to use this to censor the internet, to come against anybody that's speaking out or anybody that's exposing any of the wickedness of these elites, man. And this is giving them the perfect opportunity and the perfect scenario to be able to exercise these type of, powers, man. It says, in the UK media is demanding a temporary national ban of social media altogether. The Director of Public Prosecutions for England and Wales, Stephen Parkinson, told Sky News on Wednesday that prosecutors are considering bringing terror offenses to anyone who's arrested during the riots, but wouldn't go into specific details, you see? And this is how they're going to be able ultimately in the future, when things happen here in the West, to basically to deem every citizen here, a terrorist until proven otherwise. And ultimately how they can bring in this digital ID, to bring in the CBDCs, the, central bank digital currencies, to get everybody to bow down to this, digital slave agenda they're trying to, to push. Excuse me. Look at this. It says, we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media to look for this material and then follow up with arrests, you see? And this is ultimately what they're doing, man. And this is ultimately what they're going to do everywhere. And it's going to come here to the West, man. They got their fact checkers, their people watching all the internet, scouring the internet to see who's posting what and who's saying what. You see, and this is why they want to bring in this digital ID and digital identification system, so that in the future, whenever you're going online and you're posting shit and you're saying shit, it can be directly linked to you and your persons and your digital wallet, your account, your CBDCs, and ultimately be linked to your micro C-hip, to where you can be punished and dealt with in real time, man. You see, because right now it can be anybody using any computer to tweet and say particular things. They can say we think it's this person, but they really can't really say for sure. But with a new digital wallet and a digital identification in this beast system in the future, when you do these particular things, you can be immediately identified and rounded up and arrested and dealt with harshly. You see, it says Parkinson also claims certain social media posts could be considered an incitement to racial hatred, which involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. You see, and this is how they're ultimately, pushing, moving things into place to totally censor the internet completely. You see, and start to change people's behaviors, change how you respond to things, change how you speak out against particular things, man, to where now they're going to change laws on social media so that anytime that you do anything that they find to be insulting or abusive, you can be, banned from these social media posts, or in the future, you can be arrested. You see, we see what these devils are doing, man, and it's very weak. It is very stupid, but hey, this is all part of biblical prophecy, man. All right, what does it say here? This is Amos 5:10. It says, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. You see? And we know ultimately what they're going to do is deem anything that goes, whether you're telling, we know whether you're telling the truth or not, is going to be so broad that anything that you say or tweet or publish is whatever they deem to be, against the guidelines. You can be reprimanded, man. You can be taxed. You can be arrested. You can be, ostracized. You can be rounded up and arrested. And they've actually arrested people in the UK for just reposting tweets. I saw a couple of videos where they went to the guy's door and he was recording it. And they told him, look, we're arresting you because you posted something that we deem to be misinformation, or it was offensive, or it sparked hatred or whatever. So now they're going to be able to use any video that you make. And if anybody does anything, violent or anything, out of hand, they can be able to point the finger at you and say, well, it's because your video that they watched that, it encouraged them to go and to do a particular thing, or, cause them to whatever they might do. They can throw it back and blame it on you. You see, and this is just a way to, fear-based psychological operation to get everybody to just shut the hell up and watch what they tweet, watch what they post, watch what you say, watch what you expose, and basically to stay in line, man. Otherwise, they're going to come down with this draconian type of measures. And it says, so if you retweet that, then you'll be publishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offense, Parkinson said, adding there are police officers dedicated to scouring social media, man. And can you imagine all the videos that we've done over the years, all the videos that they've taken down? They can at any point and at any time, if they want to, once, it gets crazy enough and hectic over here in the States and shit is out of control and they're implementing martial law, this can just be a way for them to round up all the people that they know, and deem them as dissidents, as enemies or terrorists or enemies of the state, and lock you up indefinitely in one of these sea camps that they have built all throughout America, man. So we can see clearly, the road this devil is taking, man. All right. And it says their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification, arrest, and so forth. So it's very, very serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and their consequences will be visited upon them, he added. It says Sky News reported correspondent Matthew Thompson also noted that this online crackdown isn't an idle threat by prosecutors either, because they have already filed several charges related to stirring up racial hatred online, you see? And it says here, Dan Wooton says, in dystopian Britain, we now have a child sly news reporter warning citizens against retweeting because they could find themselves prosecuted. It's not an idle threat either, he insists. The MSM is now a propaganda arm of the state attempting to shut down free speech. See, because BlackRock and these elites have brought up all of these different, news sites, social media, and they're making it seem like they're all operating, under their own accord, but really they're already brought and paid for. That's why when it comes down to the come down, these different social media platforms are going to enforce whatever, these situations require. All right, let's see this.
I'm joined by Matthew Thompson now to talk through this. So, Matthew, the last point there is crucial, isn't it? Some people might be sharing simply to warn their friends, but it could be considered an offence because they're amplifying this.
Absolutely, and that's the key message, is that however you think you're acting innocently on social media, whatever platform it is, you're just sharing something for whatever reason, that could potentially be a criminal offence. And look, it's not an idle threat either, because...
Yeah, man, see, this is like that movie 1984, man. And other dystopian movies like V for Vendetta, And we literally seeing it happening in real life and in real time, which shows you that all these movies that they make of these dystopian type films, is really what these elites are planning to do. And we're literally seeing it playing out in real life and in real time.
The Crown Prosecution Service were keen to point out that they've made a number of charges in relation to stirring up of racial hatred online, one of which this morning was for distributing a recording that could, intending to stir up racial hatred. And so they are actually...
You see, and all they're trying to do ultimately is saying that you're inciting hatred for exposing things that are really happening in real time. You see, and this is why over there in Bangladesh, or in India, when that whole shit was happening, they had a temporary where they shut down the internet because they don't want the truth being exposed. They don't want people out there in real time with their phones really showing what is truly happening, because the elites want to take back control of the narrative, and they want to post on their news site what they want to post so that they could use it to make you believe whatever is happening is, to have just one view and one, vision of what's really taking place. All right. And it says, Met Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley likewise stated that being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law, and we will come after those individuals just as we would physically confront on the streets the thugs and the yobs who are causing the problem for communities, he said Wednesday. Look at that. We will throw the full force of the law at me. It's very clear what they intended to do to me. They are attacking Elon Musk as well because they want to clamp down on citizen journalism. They must have total control of any narrative, you see? And that's ultimately what they're trying to do, to now they're going to start striking fear into people to be like, look, nigga, if you out here recording, you're out here being your own journalist, you're out here taking matters into your own hands and really exposing what we don't want to be exposed, hey, you're going to be dealt with. You're going to be prosecuted. We're going to throw the book at you. We're going to lock you up. And this is why they're building all these different sea camps all over here in the States, because they know eventually this shit is going to come here to America, you know? So it says, we have commentators from either end of the political spectrum who would like to throw accusations of bias at the police because we stand in the middle, blah, blah, blah. It says, meanwhile, online footage shows police giving Muslims or migrants carte blanche to attack and assault anyone they deem far right while cracking down on protesters, including women. Yeah, you see? So they're stoking the flames of this civil war, man. It says gangs of Muslims chasing people through the streets of Belfast. Similar scenes across UK, and the legacy media put out that EDL, a non-existent group, was after them. Yeah, you see, man. So, yeah, you see who they're arresting right there, right? You see? Look, arrested resident. I was locked up to be made an example of. Yeah. See, because these devils are starting to come down with that great wrath, man. Look at this. It says, if you want to know how things are going in globalist England, left James Nelson, 18, who has been jailed for 2 months for protesting on Sunday. Right, Lawson Natty, 18, who will spend just 6 months in jail for the manslaughter of a 14-year-old boy. You see? And what are they trying to stoke? Black versus white, you know? And that dude on the left, I don't know, that hair kind of nappy, man. You know, I'm just saying. But you see what they're ultimately trying to do. They're trying to stoke these race riots. And they're going to do the same thing here in the States. Don't watch. But you're going to see a so-called Latino-looking face or Latin American face versus a so-called white person or a black person. However, they're going to try to spin it this way on the West. Yep. What is this? UK powers has lost complete control of the narrative. People are seeing the truth, their lies and propaganda exposed, man. See, and that's what we ultimately see what's happening, you know? And let me get this, man. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught. Who's that? Esau, Edom. The agenda of these elites is being exposed. And the scorner is consumed. And all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. You see, and this is what they're ultimately trying to accomplish with this. And they're going to do the same here, you know, in the West, and they're going to come against the prophets and the Israelites. So pretty soon, you know, when all hell is breaking loose, when they want to finally put the blame game on Jake, they're going to show you stupid ass carnal Israelite groups out there with guns on your hips and your rifles and all of your, you know, out there on the highways and the byways being disrespectful and stupid and talking shit with your megaphones and getting the Edomites to kiss your boots. You out there just harassing people as they're walking by instead of just, you know, teaching the truth and gathering the elect the right way. You know, they're going to use that as a way to eventually come up against the prophets and the men of the Lord. You see? And this is why we know that, you know, the famine of the word is coming. We know eventually they're going to have to make their move against the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know? And it says, Revelations 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Now, of course, we're not going to be out there. Well, some of these dumbass Israelite groups will be when civil war and all hell is breaking loose out here in America. You're going to have these over-righteous Israelite groups out there trying to prophesy and preach in the middle of Jacob's trouble and civil war. And they're going to get their dumbasses locked up or bopped in the head or worse, you know. It says, for fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And remember, you know, they're going to eventually, you know, they'll be able to use videos that we did, videos that they have taken down, even after they shut down the internet. If we get locked up or grabbed up, they're going to know who we are, you know, and they're going to present you in one of their wicked court systems, which they're going to play videos when you were out there on the highways and the byways speaking. And they're going to tell you, you know, hey, we're going to prosecute you. We're going to throw the book at you. We're going to lock you up for this inciting of whatever, you know. And, hey, but at the end of the day, it's all just a trial and a test of our faith. But we're definitely entering into these times, you know. It says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You see? So we see the stage being set, man. You know, we see things are heading in a way to where you know, it's not going to be fair, you know. All right. And this is Luke chapter 21, verse 10. And it says, things to come. Then said he unto me, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And this is what we seeing happening. It says, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. It was just an earthquake over there in the land of Israel just today, I think, like a 3.2. And it's funny, I've been having dreams for the last 2 nights of major earthquakes and big earthquakes happening, you know. And I'm not saying, you know, that's going to happen to tomorrow or today, but, you know, it's very odd that I had back-to-back dreams 2 nights in a row of big earthquakes, you know. It says, and famines and pestilences and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven, which we see taking place now. It says, but before all these they shall lay hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And as we know, that which was then is now. You know, and some of us are going to be put in these same situations right now. We can see a glimpse of how it could possibly take place here in the States with this situation over there in England. Okay. It says, it says, and it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore into your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all of your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. Some of you shall they cause to be put to death. You see? And these are just the times that we're entering into, because, you know, like we've been saying, hey, it's very serious times are upon us. And a lot of these things are about to take place. A lot of these prophecies are about to be fulfilled. And we know this devil is about to come down with this great wrath, man, as he's trying to, by 2025, bring in this new world order agenda, man. You know? It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not a hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your souls, man. You see? So, hey, man, we can ultimately see where all of this is headed, man. This is not a surprise, you know, but hey, hey, man, you know, hey, it's just getting to that point, man, to where, you know, all the bad times and Jacob's trouble and the things that we've been warning these Jakes about is about to be here, you know, financial collapse, race riots, civil war, you know, 2 Ezra 15 and 16 chapter, cities being, you know, the cities being cornered off, you know, invading one another, people not regarding their kings nor princes, you know, like I just read in Luke, but also in Matthew 24, nation rising against nation, you know, this great third world war, the MOTB is all here, you know, coming upon us, man. So we just got to remain diligent, stay faithful, man. Keep the faith, keep fighting, keep believing. And hopefully, you know, in the midst of it all, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai will make a way for, you know, his elect. Lord willing, we're a part of it in the midst of all this hell, man. But stay prayed up, man. Keep your eyes single, stay focused. It's about to get real out here, man. So we got to make sure that we're operating in the right spirit, offering up the right sacrifices, and, you know, doing the things that are pleasing in the sight of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, so that we could be, you know, delivered from these situations that are coming. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit of me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you are edified. Shalom.